up, guys? Happy Monday morning. We're going to do some aluminum today, and we're going to be welding together one of our vent tanks that we designed for another customer. And this one is going to be going in Brian Pickett's Fox body, another turbo car that we did, but he had a smaller vent tank on it, just wasn't doing the job. So now we're going to get this one mounted up in his trunk. This is the same design we used on Shelton's car. We've got 16s coming in here. They'll come into the tank. They'll have to go under this baffled area, and then the air can escape back up through these holes that we have along there. Come into this chamber here and come out a 2-inch stack through the top of the trunk, which you will see on Shelton's car, kind of what it looks like. A little bit different design on Brian's, where we're not going to have the baffle welded on the outside right here. It's kind of like with everything, the more you do it, you try to hone in the design a little bit cleaner every single time. Even though it doesn't look bad, it's just we don't think it's really needed as short as this is. So we're going to get this cleaned up. Here's the sides right here. Get all this stuff laser cut, that way there's no scratches on it messing with it. So we're going to get all this peeled off, all the stuff cleaned off the side. I'll show you right here why you can't just peel it off and weld it. Camera probably won't even focus. As you can see, yeah, it's not going to focus. There's a little black line right there. That's where the laser cutter makes a pass over all this stuff to cut through the laser film first, and then it will come back and cut through the aluminum. So that first pass it makes kind of melts the laser film and leaves just a little bit of black sticky stuff. You can wipe it off with your finger almost, but we take acetone and wipe all these parts down around the perimeters to get that off, because when you're welding and you hit the spots like that, it takes all the beauty out of your weld. And you know our aluminum has to look right. So we're going to set up and get cleaned, or start cleaning all these parts, and then we're going to get them tacked up and start welding. I've said he's also going to get a couple of our bulkhead fittings. These are the flanges they start out as. We'll get those welded together also. So let's get to it. Okay, everything's cleaned up, and just like with all of our tanks, just get some painter's tape, get all your pieces fit up the way they're supposed to be. In previous videos, I used to lay aluminum foil down to keep from scratching everything, but since I've got this 6061 top for this rolling table, which works out really nice, just have to be careful not to scoot the aluminum around on it a lot, because it will scratch even though it's aluminum against aluminum. Turn it sideways where you can see it here. actually forgetting how we drew this up. So just take a piece and hold up there. Here's the other way. Maybe not. We'll get it here in a minute. Okay, it's gonna go that way. And see how this is sitting on top of the ledge here? It's proud here and going down here. So that means it sits on top of this corner. Might be easier said than done. And we'll get the tape out. Get it up on the edge there. This is pretty much flush right here. A piece of tape there to hold that in place. Probably wouldn't hurt to put a couple pieces of tape on there, just so it don't try to wiggle. Okay. Got that flush. I'll show you this fitment here. See how we got it? It's like the two corners are almost meeting. You got about a 1/16 of an inch, probably maybe even a 32nd that's touching. And that's how you want it to be. Whenever you weld it up. That gives a nice area for the filler to lay in. Now to get that piece on, it's best to, well, see my piece is already moved right here. Best to lay it on its side. Mocking this stuff up is sometimes tricky, even if it's a simple piece like this. Because if it's crooked and you weld it together, then your other pieces aren't going to fit the way you design them. We will just get these tapes together where they are tight. Do another one on the bottom. And we'll test fit this. And it fits very, very well. Now we're going to turn our welder on and we're going to tack about 3 tacks down through here. Then once that's secure, we're going to peel the tape off. Throw a couple of tacks here as well. Probably start in the middle. So that way none of this will move. And then we'll get our sides put on, get them tacked together, and it'll all be ready to weld. Okay, everything is tacked up and we are ready to weld this thing together all the way. When you're doing aluminum, you're dealing with a box or any type of structure like this, you better make sure to make a tack every 6 inches, or maybe even closer than that, depending on how thick your material is or how much filler you're going to push in there, because as you're welding, it will start moving like crazy with the heat. Sometimes whenever we do fuel cells, we have to do like threaded bungs right in the middle of the tank. The tank will like sink in when it gets hot. If you'll just leave it alone, most of the time it'll come back out. It's crazy what different materials does whenever you get them hot, or do when you get them hot. So let's weld this thing together. Shouldn't take that long. Gonna let the video roll. I'm gonna weld together some of these bulkheads. Remember, we're gonna preheat it a little bit first. That'll allow us not have to sit on it so long. moving pretty fast. That's how you get that bright look on your weld. If you slow poke, it's going to look hot. Something is whistling. Sounds like the camera. Huh. It was the camera. It must not like being that close to something being welded. Try backing up a little bit. Huh, that was weird. It's like the battery in it was singing. Got to check that out on the edit and see if it picked it up. See my tungsten right there, how far it stuck out? Just barely. I'm gonna try sticking it out just a little bit further this time. Maybe like that. Get some pre-flow going. Trying to make the noise again. See, when I'm getting back around to this area right here, how it's not as bright? It's because the part's getting hot. A little piece of titanium. We'll set up the blocks and get the other one welded up. Okay, next step in this process, we're going to weld the stack onto the tank. This will go up through the trunk, go out the back, or the top of the trunk lid. So we've got this hole pretty much cut where it goes in there really good, but we want to hold it off the bottom a little bit. So what I'm going to do is go over here to a vise. I'm going to just squeeze it just a little bit. Might have been a little bit too much, but just enough to misshape it where you can't really tell. Still looks round. Well, it actually made it worse. Need to go a little bit more. object is to oval it a little bit so it is tight in the hole. And there we go right there. Push on it a little bit. There we go. Now it will hold itself up. So we're going to get it where it needs to be. Where his needs to be is 18 inches, which is right there. So we're going to have to oval it a little bit more up to that point. To get it to stay tight. Okay. Well, there we go. Now it's good and snug. See where we're at. Still have to go down 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, 1/4 inch. Eighth of an inch. And we are there. Now what I'm going to do is put some tape on this. Just for a little added security. We're going to see if it's level. Needs to lean my way just a little bit. Level right there. Now we check it this way. And we're good there. Now we're going to tack it in place. And knock the camera off. Alright. Another thing, when you're working with aluminum, make sure you get all the fingerprints and everything off the aluminum before you get it hot. Because once you get it hot, that junk ain't coming off. Now we're going to adjust this so this is level. Check it that way. You can see it move just a little bit. That way one more time, and we are good to go. Now let's weld it up. All right, we got everything welded up. See our burn down bulkheads. These are also for brine. See our tank. Got some tabs welded on here. 2 on each side. This thing come out really nice. It still needs to be wiped off a little bit. Kind of smudgy. See, we welded all the way around our stack. 2-inch stack. It ought to purge plenty of crankcase vapor, alcohol vapor. I need to put these tanks on the website. Forget, I think they're about 3 gallon, maybe 2.5, 3 gallon. Pretty big. Nice piece to go in the trunk. My Datsun over there will put something similar in the trunk. Might even use the same exact tank, but if you're interested in one of these and you don't see it on the website, just hit us up, sales@rock-solid-motorsports.com. And if it's something that we already have a CAD file for, as far as a tank goes, we don't mind whipping one up for you and giving you a quote on it. So this is our Monday morning task. Thanks for watching. As always, subscribe. See ya.